to the matter.
Thank you, Mr. Janis. Madame Vandenbel, please.
Yes, thank you.
Last questions.
Thank you very much, Minister. And following up on the theme of my previous question with regard to democratic development, as we mentioned, we know that women thrive and the Sustainable Development Goals are achieved when you have open, pluralistic, inclusive democratic processes. And a lot of the expertise that Canada has, and in my past, that was one of the things that I was doing abroad, is in institutional development, parliaments, rule of law, making sure that we have strong democratic institutions around the world, which Canadians are particularly good at doing. I'm wondering, my understanding, the All-Party Democracy Caucus recently had a forum where we brought in experts, former UNDP, people from around the world that work in this field, Parliamentary Centre and others, who said that at the moment, and I don't know if this is true, but at the moment only 2% of ODA goes to institutional development for democracy. And I'm just wondering if that's something that we might be able to consider, because we know the feminist international assistance policy doesn't mean that we stop doing things like democracy promotion and electoral observation. It just means that we want to have more women participating and included and designing those kinds of programs. But the programs themselves actually achieve the kind of outcomes for women and girls that we're looking for. So I'm not asking for an answer right now in terms of the percentage, but just in general, in terms of the governance and the inclusive governance that you're doing, would you be willing to take a look at the percentage that is specifically, not for civil society participation or, but specifically for institutional development on democracy?
Yes, I'll take a look and I'll get back to you. And I think my answer will be similar as the previous one. It really, the area of priority, which is inclusive governance, really is very well aligned. And actually, when I was doing this consultation, and I traveled quite a bit, as you know, every time I met with one of my counterparts in the developing countries, I was asking, okay, you've been doing working with the Canadian cooperation for 50 years. Tell me, what are we good at? How are we? Can we have a bigger impact in the field? And the first thing they were all saying was technical assistance. They really appreciate Canadians, having Canadians around for that type of assistance.
And I know that a lot of Canadians are working for American organizations. So, for instance, NDI, IRI, or with international intergovernmental organizations, UNDP has a strong parliamentary development section. OSCE, everywhere that we go, Canadians are actually in senior positions when it comes to this kind of institutional capacity, technical development. Canada doesn't have that kind of, the National Endowment for Democracy or NDI or an organization specifically like that. And I know 10 years ago this committee did a study on that. I have a motion before the committee to renew that study. But just wondering if I could get your thoughts on whether or not there's room for Canada to perhaps look at the way in which we do democracy promotion around the world, and maybe there is a way that Canadians could be working for a Canadian organization with our own values, as opposed to, I mean, it's good that we're working in organizations around the world or U.S. organizations, but is there perhaps some space for the Parliamentary Centre, and others are already doing this, I know, but what are your thoughts about that particular thing?
My thoughts are to me, this is once again related to the way Canada is working in different countries. So in some countries, it's could be very, very much interesting. Creating something new, I mean, I'll be honest with you, this is not something that we have really pushed, and I haven't got, it has been identified as an area of priorities, but really creating something new, I'm not at this place right now.
Okay, perhaps the committee will study it and then we can give you some recommendations. Thank you.
Well, if you identify it as a priority, I will definitely consider it even further, yes.
Thank you, Minister. I appreciate that.
We've got a couple of minutes